Folks, could we begin the meeting now? If you'd all take your seats, I'd appreciate it. Good afternoon to my fellow trustees and to the other invited ladies and gentlemen.
Right on time.
I'd like to thank you all for coming to this special meeting of the Plainville County Retirement Board. I am Tom Walsh, and I'm pleased to be your board chairman. I certainly appreciate.
How did I ever get myself into this? Trustee of the pension fund?
Turnout. Before I begin, I would like to introduce a newly elected trustee. Please welcome Mr. George Driscoll.
We knew we shouldn't have had the election the day after the Christmas party.
George is a member of the Woburn Firefighters Union. Welcome, George. George, I'm sure we will cover some concepts today which will be new to you. So I want to offer my help and that of our consultant, Kevin DeCenti. And of course, your fellow trustees will be absolutely willing to give you guidance and advice.
Boy, look at these people. They actually look like they know what they're doing.
As all of you know, directing the investment of a retirement fund is a great responsibility. We have a lot of people depending on us for a comfortable retirement.
Depending on me? The last person that depended on me was my ex-wife.
So my fellow trustees, I believe we must act soon or we will be facing a major problem. As your chairman, it is my fiduciary duty.
Fiduciary? Can you say that in a meeting?
To anticipate such problems and to recommend a course of action.
Yeah, course of action. How about a course of action right to the golf course?
Let's review the problem. We have funded the retirement plan with U.S. stocks, bonds, and cash. In the 80s through the mid-90s, that worked fine. During that time, our fund return was some 13%, about 15% from stocks, and about 12% from bonds. But that is way above historic returns for those asset classes. And history suggests that that won't continue forever.
Yeah, I think I lost them at let's review the problem.
Historic returns for U.S. stocks and bonds would put our fund return at about 7% in the future. And market conditions or a market decline would make it even lower.
Lower? Yeah, I'm no brain surgeon, but I think we want to go higher.
Those returns won't fund our plan because we're assuming an 8% return. If the fund return is below 8%, the difference must be made up by contributions from the taxpayers and from the plan members.
So you're looking for the financial advice of a fireman?
We must find other prudent investment vehicles to fund our retirement plan.
Prudent investments, fund return. What are we going to do?
Good question.
What the? How do you hear me?
In order to produce a higher return for the fund, we must consider some new ideas.
Uh-oh. Can everybody hear what I'm thinking?
These ideas involve some additional risk.
Risk?
In the past, we have learned to accept risk.
What does a fireman know about risk?
Look at poor George. He's so overwhelmed.
They're just like me. They're just like me. Only they're smarter.
Boy, is he nervous.
We have also learned, by intelligent diversification, to manage additional risk. Now, we need to intensify the search for new ways for the fund to enhance returns.
Risk?
Yes, risk. We've invited some guests here today to talk about their different specialties. Each of them will give you a brief overview of their asset class.
Door over there. Window. Window. Fire escape.
I have to emphasize that you must embrace risk.
No. 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 Not
But I'm not ready to take risks. We're not recommending you take unnecessary or foolish risks. We are, however, advising our clients to consider using some non-traditional investment vehicles. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks a lot.
That's why we're here, and that's why the industry experts are here.
Our first guest is here to talk to us about real estate, and would you welcome Mr. Scott Erdang of Erdang & Associates Real Estate Advisors.
Thank you, Tom, and good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about real estate. Real estate is an asset class that deserves particular attention from pension trustees. Its attractive investment characteristics include a high and stable annual cash flow, generally in the 8 to 10% range, plus potential appreciation. Furthermore, real estate returns have historically had a low correlation with stock and bond returns, so portfolio risk can be reduced through such diversification. And finally, real estate is an asset class which performs well in the face of unexpected inflation. And thus it's an effective hedge against high inflation, preserving the real return so important to plan participants. It deserves your consideration. Thank you.
Our next guest is from the venture capital sector. Please welcome Walter Dick of Pioneer Capital.
Thanks, Tom. Good afternoon. Pioneer Capital is a Boston-based venture management firm. We invest money in the illiquid equities of privately held companies that hold substantial potential for growth. We provide this long-term capital, these promising companies, help the companies develop and assist the entrepreneurs. Venture capital is an important asset class because it provides relatively high returns, it provides diversification beyond bonds and stocks, and it also creates economic growth. When looking for venture capital managers, look for relatively high returns with respect to peer groups, lots of experience, low turnover, and a consistent investment strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. Our next guest is here to talk to us about timber.
Timber?
It's Eric Odleifson of Resource Investments. Eric?
Thank you very much, Tom. A timber investment includes land and growing trees.
Trees?
Either softwoods or hardwoods, as found in both natural stands and plantations. Investment returns come primarily from the tree's physical growth. This steady annual increase in wood volume, especially in plantations, provides a safe and predictable investment return of 10 to 12% annually in our domestic markets and substantially higher rates of return offshore. Additionally, we expect timber prices to continue to increase faster than the inflation rate, adding to the total real rate of return. We see this as a very compelling investment opportunity, and we do ask for your careful consideration. Thank you very much.
Bill, would you like some water?
Next, we will hear from Jay Dernberger from Julius Baer, who will discuss foreign bonds. Jay?
Thank you, Tom. Did you know that over the last 10 years, the U.S. government bond market has had the lowest rate of return of all the world's major markets? There are 19 countries outside the United States that issue investment-grade government bonds. From this universe of countries, we can construct a very high-quality portfolio. For when you add these bonds to your U.S. government bond portfolio, these bonds will complement each other like the pistons of an automobile. When one market is up, another may go down, but the automobile moves ahead smoothly.
Do you pull the ripcord this way or this way?
Top-quality foreign bonds can add value to your fund through enhanced returns as well as added diversification. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay. And now I'd like to introduce a very special guest to discuss international investments, Mr. Frank O'Brien of Irish Life, who will be coming to us today by satellite directly from Dublin, Ireland. He wishes he could be here with you, but we're happy to bring him to you in living color.
The world today is a global economy. The US market alone no longer provides broad diversification. US stocks now account for just 1/3 of world stock market value. International investment will reduce your portfolio's risks by broadening its diversification.
I still don't understand soccer, John.
Furthermore, the world's fastest growing economies are now outside the US.
When's the next World Cup?
So international investment will boost your portfolio's returns.
Now, I like that Irish guy. Where do I sign up? Now remember, George, there's a lot to consider here.
That's right, Kevin. Let's remember these are just some of the options available to us. Now, our next guest is here representing Managed Futures. Let's all welcome Grant Schomburg of Mount Lucas Management.
So Managed Futures has good returns, low correlation with other asset classes, daily portfolio pricing, excellent liquidity, and is implemented using exchange-traded and regulated instruments. For pension funds, Managed Futures is a product worthy of serious consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Yeah, I think I'm beginning to see the big picture here. Actually, I think I can see the whole state from here. Let's take another look. Okay, I understand that we need to diversify to meet our fund objective. Now, what were the other options? There's real estate, venture capital, timber, foreign bonds, international equity, and managed futures. Can we go back now?
What we wanted to do today was to get you thinking about some of these alternative investment strategies and vehicles, to diversify the portfolio and to work to design a more modern investment policy so that we can meet our needs in the years to come. Remember, by taking prudent but necessary risk, we can create a pension plan for a modern pension fund. Let's not let our members down.
Yes!
You know you're rolling, John.
This may be more than one take.
Good afternoon. Pioneer Capital provides long-term... this is bad. I'm sorry.
Yes, risk. We've invited some guests here today to talk about different asset classes. Each of them will cover their asset class. I must embrace myself.
Josephine, you just gotta stop it.
Gladly.
No, not risk. I'm sorry, I got that in too. We blew that one. Yeah, well, when he said risk the first time, that's when I thought I was supposed to. That was my cue, but I missed the cue.
Really?
Yeah.
Toast.
Okay, you can do a toast? You can do a cheers?
Yeah, good cheers. There you go. To the littlest pub in Dublin. How's that, Dan? The littlest pub. Some of the great golf courses in the world right here in Dublin. Of course, your father never played them very well.
Should I have a steak, please?
Good question. These ideas involve some additional risk. Excuse me.